Good morning from the mature Bukhara old town here in Bukhara, Uzbekistan. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll have known that I ended up here trying to find out where Apple had taken its photo for my screensaver, and then I extended my trip to Bukhara from Samarkand by high-speed rail. I've been here for 3 days. You really only need a day, maybe 2 at most, in Bukhara. There isn't that much to do and it's very touristy. But I found a company online called Islambek Travels, and they are going to take me to what I think is going to be my final stop in Uzbekistan before I head home. So we are going to be met by a driver in the modern day version of a camel, a Chevrolet. Everyone in Uzbekistan seems to drive a Chevrolet of some kind, and we are driving for 12 hours through the autonomous province of Kyzylkum through the desert to the ancient walled city of Khiva. We are going to be stopping off at 5 fortresses deep in the desert. The first one apparently only appears in about 6 hours, after 6 hours of driving. It's quite early in the morning. We'll probably get to Khiva when it's dark. We will get there when it's dark. So if you like fortresses and castles in the desert, well, there's 5 of them, so keep watching. So now we need to go downstairs and meet our driver called Murodbek, I think, who should be waiting outside the hotel soon, and we'll get on our way towards the ancient town of Khiva.
Chevroletim g'uvillab ketdi uzoq cho'l. Eski ipak yo'li izlarim oldinda, sahro menga kuldi yuragim yonida. Hey yo'l ochilib bor, qum ham raqsga tushar. Oyna tepasida quyosh oltin bo'lib o'char. Meni kutar manzil, menga yetar nafas. Boraman men yana boraman, hammasi xas. Chevrolet ket, qumda izlar yot. Chevrolet ket, ipak yo'li bot. Chevrolet ket, ko'nglim chiqdi tog'. Chevrolet ket, sahro bilan jog'.
So we've been driving for just over 2 hours now outside of Bukhara. Don't worry, you've not missed anything. It's just sand and bumpy road. From what I can understand, we need to pull over every couple of hours, actually every couple of miles, for a couple of seconds by the police. I'm not sure how they track the cars, but you need to pull over for a couple of seconds for a quick rest. We've got another 4 hours-ish before the next fort, before the first fort. There's not much to see, just sand, a couple of trucks, and a ramshackle village emerges from the horizon like a mirage. Couple of people, really not much else. Just gonna sit back for a couple more hours.
Shamolga teng uchdim, qalpoqni mahkam bosib, chang ichida kuldim. O'tgan karvonlarning sadosi qulog'imda, har bir burilishda tarix bordir yo'limda. Otlar yodga tushar, ammo menda temir. Ko'hna bekatlar ortda, oldinda yangi qadr. Hey yo'l ochilib bor, ham raqsga tushar.
Take away the road, you could just imagine that traders for centuries coming over these sand dunes on camels with spices and tea and silk, passing through the small towns and fortresses that we're going to be visiting over the next 10 hours.
Tepasida quyosh oltin bo'lib uchar, meni kutar manzil, menga yetar nafas. Boraman men yana boraman, hammasi xas. Chevrolet ket, qumda izlar yot. Chevrolet ket, ipak yo'li bot. Chevrolet ket, ko'nglim chiqdi tok. Chevrolet ket, sahro bilan jot.
It stinks in here.
No camera.
So the first fortress we've arrived at after 5 hours on washboard gravel tracks with hardly any paved surfaces at all is the Guldersun Kala, the Guldersun Fortress. It is a fortified town dating back to the 12th century. This is the fortress. Well, yeah, my driver, he doesn't speak much English, but he's a nice guy. We're having to communicate by hand gestures and simple basic words. And it's got a lot colder. It's really cold. Not so sure where you're meant to go here. Where you're not meant to go. This is the view from the Gulderson Fortress. Shall we head back to the car and go to the next fortress, which is probably, if I can get back down without falling. This fortress is built on sand, and sand is slippery. Oh, it's really cold. It was 19 degrees yesterday in Bukhara. It's like 3 degrees here. But we're now deep in the Karakalpakstan region of Uzbekistan, a self-governing autonomous region. We had to go through a security checkpoint when we came in. I'm not sure where this leads to. Yeah, I'm not going down that one. So this would have been one of the fortresses along the old Silk Road, and I would assume where that modern road is now would have been one of the caravanserai routes, so the trading routes, and this fortress would have defended the nearby villages where cotton is grown from any raiders trying to come along the Silk Road. And down there you can just see the car that has driven us here. Everyone's driving a Chrysler. They don't seem to have any suspension at all on these bumpy roads. Seems sturdy enough. It's been stood here for 900 years. Well, let's head back down to the car. as colour. There are 3 fortresses clustered together on a hill at the eastern end of the Sultan Uzdag range. This fortress defended against nomad raids. Used to attack the Silk Road traders that were passing through here. We really are in the desert now. I think it's about 2 degrees now, but we're in the desert. Behind me, where the driver's parked, is a yurt camp. I don't think we can we climb to this one? I think we can. There's a very steep path that we might be able to climb up. So we are just surrounded by sand dunes now. It's really windy, so the sand is going in my eyes. We're just in several channels through this. Well, some of them would have been barefoot, some of them would have been on camels, some would have worn woolen or leather shoes. But having to traverse that just endless desert. So it seems you can go up here then. There's a really steep sandy path, and then what looks like a lot of rocks you've got to climb over. I've done Greenland, I've done the wilderness of Greenland, this is fine. Let's go up to the fortress and see what the defenders of this area would have seen when they were defending from nomadic raiders that used to attack the Silk Road traders passing by here. Down that in a bit. think this might be as far as we can go. It's turned into, it's like really slippery and the wind is so strong, but we can see what the ancient defenders of this area would have seen all those years ago. Just endless nothing. I think it might be time to head back down again somehow, down all of this, and get back in the car because it's freezing. Just look at this view. All you can see is the road winding through sand dunes. This is kind of what I imagined when I thought of the Silk Road. Just endless sand, a couple of yurt camps where nomads would have lived, and then just rocks. I'm literally out here almost alone. But let's head back down. Really difficult to do this trying to hold the camera. It's like a sheer rock face, this. How the hell do you get down here? Made it back down in one piece, I think, near enough. Now we head back to the car, I think, because it's cold, and head off somewhere else to the third fortress. Take one last look of this one. Just endless sand dunes. Right, let's head back to the car. Oh. I'm also sinking into the sand. Can't remember which one. So we're now at the third fortress, the Kyzylkum. It looks back on 2,400 years of history. It was the centre of a complex irrigation system apparently, and has been surrounded by flourishing settlements since the 11th century. Doesn't look like there's that much here, to be honest. Right, it's actually bigger than I thought. And there's a cow down there. So it goes all the way around. And then there's a cow. Two cows. The brown cow is staring at me. It's quite unnerving. Yeah, this fortress isn't as good as the last one. I think we might head back to the car in a sec. We're making good progress. We're over halfway through the journey now to Khiva. I think we've got 2 fortresses left. I don't know if we're stopping for some food or not somewhere. I'm not bothered if we do. I'd rather just get to Khiva as soon as we can. And then I can explore Khiva because I've got limited time in Khiva. So let's head back to the car. Got a farm next door and a broken yurt frame and one of these wooden things. A cart, that's what they're called. Ah, so this was a fortress, and in the middle where the cows were was a village. So this was like a village surrounded by towers and walls. Now it's just ruins. So this is the Toprak fortress. It even has proper steps. Somebody's putting money into this one. So this dates to around the 2nd century BC and was the royal residence of the king of Khorezm. And it used to be used to administer the city of Khorezm or Khorezm or Khorezm. I don't know how you pronounce it. This seems a lot newer than the others. This has had maintenance done to it. But this one is more like an archaeological ruin than just some bricks in a field. That you can actually see what the fortress was like, the walls, the tunnels. So we're now inside the maze of walls, the maze of rooms that would have been in this royal palace. this wind is freezing cold. I left my coat in the car. You can see the fortress just goes all the way around. But let's head back to the car because it's getting really windy and it's freezing cold. It's -1 Celsius now, plus whatever wind chill there is. So let's head back. Let's head back into the car and the warmth, and then we'll head to our final fortress before we head off to Khiva. So this is the best preserved fortress on the way to Khiva. This one is the Kyzylkum. It was originally constructed between the 1st and 4th centuries BC, but was abandoned then rebuilt in the 12th century just as the Mongols invaded Uzbekistan. They think it was a garrison barracks for troops. So it costs 20,000 som to get into this fortress. Just as I was walking up the steps, a guy came running after me shouting, "Ticket, ticket!" But this is quite well preserved for some of the fortresses we've seen. I wonder how new that bit is though. That bit seems a lot more modern than the rest of it. You can look down the right now. I just imagine if this was in Europe, you'd have barriers up here, you'd have warning signs. In Uzbekistan, they're not bothered. This is as far as they go. Stick some sticks up so you don't walk into it. Oh, it's freezing cold. Again, just looking out onto endless nothingness. Just wilderness as far as you can see, with a couple of villages scattered around and some sheep, goats and cows. Just imagine all the Mongols coming over the horizon and the terrified soldiers based in this fortress having to defend essentially the biggest trade route in the world at the time from this tower. Let's head back, then we can do the 90-minute drive to Khiva, back along the Silk Road, because the driving road, the modern road, was built on what was the Silk Road. One thing I have noticed at every fortress we've been to, it's really quiet out here. We are in the middle of nowhere, obviously it's going to be quiet, but it is eerily quiet. Just imagine the silence when you're guarding this in ancient times, and then all of a sudden a horde of Mongols comes running over the horizon. Or if you were out here in the desert as a Silk Road trader, the deathly silence that you'd have to deal with every night. let's head back to the car and get on our way to Khiva.
Restaurant tandoori, okay, after lunch, restaurant, okay, tandoori.
So we finally arrived into Khiva. This is Yodga, my driver, who's driven me for 9 hours? 9 hours, I think, from Bukhara to Khiva. I will include his phone number so you can contact him for tours and taxis in the description. So my new friend from Uzbekistan. Now we'll go and check into the hotel. Welcome to the Hotel Farahat Honor, just on the outskirts of the old town of Khiva. So we have now arrived into Khiva from Urgench after travelling pretty much halfway across the country. Would I recommend the tour with Islambek Travels? The driver was nice. The owner of the tour company was really responsive over email. I'll include a link to the website down below. He offers lots of tours across Uzbekistan. He was really friendly. Any questions, he answered them. Quite reasonable prices as well for how remote parts of Uzbekistan actually are. But now I'm here for a couple of nights, and then we'll see what happens after a couple of nights. Let me show you around the room quickly before I wrap up. So we've got the drawers, chandelier, TV, mirror, usual coffees and teas, and a big bed, and then the bathroom. I never quite know whether you can flush toilet paper down the toilet here or not. But yeah, I'm here for a few nights. I enjoyed my trip to the 5 fortresses in the desert of Uzbekistan. It really makes you imagine what the Silk Road traders would have seen when they were travelling through Uzbekistan from China to Europe and back the other way. I now have a bad back though, but yeah, let's bring this video to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit different. we've got a couple of videos from Kiva coming. But thank you for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't done. 93% of people watching haven't subscribed, and it really helps me if you could. But until the next video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around. So I spoke to YouTube and they said you would also like these cool videos from my channel, so please also check these ones out.